Welcome everyone. My name is Vincent, and today I wanted to do something new. I decided to do my first video blog post. Yeah, because I'm seeing everybody doing it on the internet, and it seems like something fun to do. Um, yeah, why not? Let's just do it. My first blog post will be about this film that I watched called Star Wars: The Last Jedi, and I actually really love that movie, and that's the reason why I actually made an entire game based on that movie. I will put the link in the description so you can play it out. But yeah, after seeing watching on YouTube all the video response about the latest Star Wars, I thought, man, people really, really hate that movie. And if you go right now on RottenTomatoes.com, you will see that the score is about like 90 something percent for all the critics, and 56% maybe for the audience. So it means people did not like it, or maybe some very big vocal minority just decided to plummet down the ratings. But as I'm watching all the videos on YouTube about Star Wars, it's true that a lot of people, rightly so, did not have a good opinion about the movie. So I don't think it's just a few people who are just gaining the system to try to put a bad score on it. And my own response is I would like to actually give you my personal opinion, which is pretty much that I like the movie. And basically, I will give you the top reasons why I do not dislike Star Wars, based on the critics about what people wrote, what people say about the movie. So number one, Rey is a Marisu. Yeah, people online, we've gotten a lot of critics that the character is a Marisu, is not interesting, she's too good at everything. First of all, who cares? You don't have to concentrate on just one character. You can just think about the whole movie, like the mix of characters and the interaction between them. You cannot say oh, I don't like this character, or I really dislike this one. But think of it as, if you didn't have Rey, then it wouldn't make Kylo as interesting, for example, or something like that. This is really a way of seeing the movie as a whole. I think it's the better way to enjoy the movie rather than disliking one character. Also, I actually don't really think that she's a Marisu. I mean, she has a lot of, I would say, lovely flaws. She's a little bit naive. I think she's she wants to train Reed Luke, and she gets impatient and angry. I like that about her. It's true that she's unexpectedly good at fighting and and good with the Force. But also, I mean, as you see her fighting in Snoke's room, you can see compare Kylo and Rey. Her way of fighting with the lightsaber is a little bit more messy than Kylo, so it's not really perfect. Although it's very good to see the different style of fighting between the two. So I really enjoy Rey as a character, and also what she brings to the mix of characters in Star Wars. Number two, that scene with Carrie Fisher flying like Mary Poppins through space. Okay, first of all, actually, we've got conditioned to think that somebody in space, you get into the vacuum of space, you die. It's actually not exactly true. You can actually survive for a few minutes. It is a little bit perplexing that she was able to survive after an explosion, because there was this big explosion. She was sort of knocked out. So that's a little bit iffy. But the fact that she was in space for a few seconds and not long enough to just run out of oxygen, and the fact that she was able to use the Force. By the way, the Force doesn't let you fly up in the air, but you're in space. There's no gravity. So as long as you can actually force pull an object, you can the object goes towards you, or you go towards the object. It doesn't take that much force. You can actually, if I was pushing if I had the force to somehow push a spaceship in space, it would just go forward, for infinity. I mean, it doesn't mean that I'm doing force push on it or anything. Number 3, the Canto Bight scene. A lot of people have been criticizing the Canto Bight scene. I would say, it's not. I didn't really get tortured by watching it. I don't even know why people really dislike it that much. It's not a really, really bad scene, I think. But okay, I don't have a very good arguments for that. But I did like the fact that they're going into this whole casino thing. They're really looking for they have this McMuffin, which is like the code breaker with the little flower on his suit, and they're looking for him, and the whole thing is about him. And suddenly, they get thrown in jail, and then they fail the mission, and then they end up with Benicio del Toro, who is he's a code breaker, but he's like this kind of scruffy guy, a little bit dodgy, and then who ends up have very questionable moral. I actually like that part, So to say that the Canto Bight scene was unnecessary and could have been completely thrown out, my opinion is I'm glad that it didn't get thrown out. All right. Next thing. Snoke dies. Oh, by the way, if I'm a little bit too late for this, but spoiler alert. Yeah, sorry about that. Snoke dies, and we never find out that he's Dark Plagueis. Okay, who cares that he's this or that, And this is something that was interesting. That everybody expect Dark Plagueis is the ultimate bad guy, as in Palpatine was in the previous Star Wars, and he's gonna be the bad guy at the end. Now he's gone, and I kind of like that it opens up the idea, about the fact that Kylo Ren is now the Grand Leader, and there's nothing really special about Dark Plagueis, except for the fact that everybody not Dark Plagueis. Who was his name? Snoke. There's nothing special about Snoke, except that people have in their mind that he's Dark Plagueis, or who is he? But if you don't get into the hype of into all those fan theories, I don't think it would really bother you. But yeah, I'm sorry for those who were really into it and was really hoping to know who Snoke is. You don't get to find out. Also, same as number 4. Also, the fact that Rey is a nobody. So basically, we were all no, not we. People were thinking who is Rey? Who was her parent? Let's hope that it's Ben Kenobi or whoever, something like that. I would say first of all, yeah, I mean a little bit who cares? Who cares who Rey is? It's not really, it doesn't bring that much to the story to have extra information about the character. It's true that people are a little bit find it a little bit questionable that she's so strong with the Force. And I actually come to accept that, and to think, and I would think that there's a little bit more in the later chapter that will explain about it. And if not, I'm fine with it. I've accepted the character as she is. Some character is a little bit stronger with the Force, and it's a little bit questionable, but it's not enough to really make me, hate the movie. I would say though that so what was I gonna say about this? Yeah, remember that scene where she's inside the cave and then she's looking into the mirror, or she wants to see her parents, but at the end she sees her. I mean, that for me it's a little bit indication that maybe somehow Rey is a clone. So that would be kind of interesting that she's actually maybe a result of a cloning experiment where they were trying to clone a lot of children with parents who had the Force. Maybe it was maybe her parents. Okay, but maybe what they did is that they did this experiment where they tried to get offsprings of Siths and try to clone them, and just to create an army of Force-powered users. that's an idea, you know. I really don't think that they're gonna go with that with the next movie, really. But that's an interesting story theory. Number 5, Luke is evil. Oh man, he's right there, and he was about to kill poor Kylo Ren, even though he was always nice to everybody, and then he even to Darth Vader. You know, somehow when you see this, when you think about Luke, you know, he was young and a little bit naive, and then he had this optimism in mind. When he gets old, you know, he failed Ben Solo, and then he's kind of like completely different, like character, a little bit scruffy, a little bit. I like Luke as a character, and I feel like now Luke is even more interesting than Han Solo. I don't know if you've noticed that, but you know, in the past, you know, when I've watched all the Star Wars trilogy, Han Solo was always the cool guy. He was the one that people wanted to imitate or like you know, to be. I mean, I did like Luke, but yeah, I agreed. You know, like you know, he's not like very deep character. But now that I've seen The Last Jedi, I have a lot more appreciation for Luke Skywalker. So this is good. This is good. I really like when they went where they went with Luke Skywalker, and that last scene. Oh man, it was amazing for me. The last scene with Luke and the duo against all the things shooting at him. And actually, I do not agree that with the audience that you know, oh, he should have been there, and you know, stop the the lasers coming at him. I was like, man, when I was looking at that scene, I was thinking, man, are they making Luke as like some kind of Super Saiyan? You know, it's a little bit cliche, you know, if you watch a movie. But then when I realized that, oh, he was actually a hologram, like he was using force projection, I thought, yeah, that's good. You know, it's a new idea basically. Number 6. Rose prevents Finn from sacrificing himself like a hero. Oh my gosh, this is like the one thing that I'm seeing from a lot of critics on YouTube about the movie. You know, everybody hates Rose. They think, you know, oh, Finn was going to have his moment of sacrificing himself, you know, and then, you know, he was going to save everybody, and then she's like there, oh, you know, I'm here to save the one we love. We save the one we love instead of killing the ones we hate. And then, you know, everybody's arguing, well, that's what he was doing. He was sacrificing himself to save the ones he loved. Guys, this idea that, you know, like there's a cannon shooting at you, and then like suddenly the music gets very dramatic, and then there's this guy who's like you know, ignoring everybody's comment and saying, I'm going to go for it, I'm going to save everybody, and then just going for it. You guys watch too much movies. This is like a cliche in movie that that we get, you know, where the music gets dramatic, and then we think, yeah, he's going to save everybody. But actually, if you think about the scene itself, there's a cannon shooting at the plane. So I mean, the original idea, I guess, was to like fire like missiles at it. But at this point, you know, there's like a fire cannon shooting into the plane itself, and you think that this is actually going to work. When I was watching that scene at first, this is my reaction. I was kind of rolling my eyes and thinking, oh yeah, this is another cliche where yeah, he's go there and save everybody. I was a little bit not paying attention, but as soon as I saw, you know, that his plane crashed on the side, I actually didn't completely notice that it was Rose who actually crashed into it. I was actually laughing myself. It's like, yeah, you know, this is what happens, you know. Thank God, you know, like this happened, because, you know, I don't want to see like this kind of cliche repeated again, like as in Independence Day. You know, Independence Day, the guy goes into the big cannon and then, you know, saves everybody. The whole thing breaks down. I mean, it was fun in Independence Day, but at this point, come on, this is cliche, you know. So this is really the one thing that really gets me when I see critics on YouTube about this movie, is that critics are angry that there's not enough cliche. This movie this should have happened. This would have been the perfect cliche for the movie, and it did not happen. And that's one of the reasons actually why I like the movie. It actually threw away all my expectation, because I got so conditioned with cliches after watching, all the popular, especially all the superhero movies. You kind of see what's going to happen, and then you there just for the enjoyment of the special effects and the cool scenes, which is enjoyable, but not. It doesn't really bring the whole story as a whole, the whole movie as a story that interesting. Okay, moving on. This is gonna be the last one. Woman power, women are awesome, guys suck. I have to admit that I really didn't see that when watching the movie. I didn't really feel that there was this big push towards awesome women and sucky guys. And I mean, you can see that, okay, the one thing is that, okay, Holdo and Leia are kind of the boss, really. And but that's not really the focus of the movie. It's not really they're not really shoving it into your face. It's just one thing that happens. It could, and for example, in the First Order, they're all led by guys, and I guess because it's the bad guys, you guys think, oh yeah, they make the bad guys like male dominant and the good guys are female dominant. This is not really. I mean, unless you really, how can I put it? Unless you're really looking for those kind of issues, it's who cares really, I think it's bugging you because, I mean, it could bug you if you really have this mindset of this is happening all the time. Hollywood is always, I mean, not always, but a lot of times some movies are trying to push the narrative of woman domination or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, the point against that, really, my real point is that all the characters were likable, really. Poe was likable, Finn likable. I have to admit that the guy in this movie is a little bit more likable to me than the woman. But still, they're really likable on both sides. I really do like Rey, even though, I really do like Rey. It's true. I'm being affected by all talk about Rey being a Marisu. If I was to wipe that out of my mind, I would really like Rey, and I would really like Rey and Kylo as my two favorite characters of the movie, really. And yeah, I even like Rose. I mean, it's not that I like Rose. I don't dislike her. And like I said in the beginning of the movie, it's not really about which character you love and which character you hate, and then it's really like how it makes the movie as a whole. And I think every single character, I forgot his name, but the Benicio del Toro character, Finn, Rose, Rey, Leia, Chewbacca, Luke, Kylo Ren, Snoke, all those characters really make the whole movie as a whole excellent. And that's what I feel. Okay, I'm off, you guys. This was my very first video blog. I hope you enjoyed it. And check out my game in the description. Yeah, I really made a game based on The Last Jedi because I loved it so much. Peace.